we wanted, through this panel, to present to you the point of view of the big global business with Adani, the point of view of the local civil society, with people of goodwill, people willing to restore the dignity of the local people living there in a very troubled part of the world, and the point of view of the policy makers. And so the three views gathered in order to support IMEC with three different origins. At the end, we all three are strongly supporting IMEC. Now we'll continue the question and I'll come back to you, Anurag. You are based in Washington, D.C., so you work in the field of public affairs, international institutional relations. And we know that this project, IMEC, has been strongly supported by the Biden administration and Joe Biden himself. How do you see the new Trump administration as regards to IMEC?
So it's an amazing question, and what I loved is our speaker from about 2 hours ago, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, and he kept being asked about what do you think of Trump's view on this and Trump's view on that, and he answered every question by beginning with a smile, right? And that's how we all view it in Washington. You know, what does Trump think about this? And you smile, because no one actually knows, right? What we do know is that Trump is a deal maker, he's transactional, and like many world leaders, he's about his country first, right? So the simple view is if we just hire American construction companies, he'll be fully supportive. However, it's a little bit more complicated than that with him, right? He will be looking at the flow of American goods across the world, right? If it's good for American exports, number one, he will be supportive. Number two is the tricky question, right? He has a view that one of the things America needs to build is a supply chain that's not relying on China. Now, as a private company, Adani, we have no view on that. Our view is to look for opportunities to build and construct. However, Mr. Trump has made it clear that he wants to diversify the supply chain away from China-only solutions. So many times people talk about the Belt and Road Initiative and such. What we're building through IMEC is an alternative supply chain to what already exists, right? And Mr. Trump will be supportive of something like that. So whereas a number of Biden administration priorities may fall aside, I really don't think IMEC will. I think he will absolutely see that it's in his global trade, falls squarely within his global trade objectives.
We have been in Washington very recently after the elections, and we can confirm that what is in the air, in the atmosphere, as I would say, twofold. First, the idea to reinforce the links with India, diversify the supply chain. It's positive. And sometimes in the US, this project is presented as a competitor of the Belt and Road Initiative. We do not want to consider it as we are against no one. We are building something new, something positive, which will create value, create prosperity, and at the end, the market will decide. But this can be an argument for the Trump administration. The second argument is the fact that, as I mentioned, this project will create a physical link between Israel and Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Jordan, and Oman. So it is directly the implementation of the Abraham Accords, which has been signed 6 years ago. And the Abraham Accord has been signed by the Trump administration. So there has been continuity from the Trump signing the Abraham Accord and then Biden implementing them through the IMEC. And of course, this would be a positive argument. Nevertheless, no one knows. Gidon, I would like to ask you what is the political buy-in, which countries support so far the vision of IMEC as a key project for peace and for prosperity?
So together with my Palestinian and Jordanian directors, and I'll show you a photo, oh, we've lost the screen. We've traveled, we've presented the vision of the Peace Triangle addition to IMEC in the White House under the Biden administration to the cabinet of Amos Hochstein. We've presented it to the cabinet of President van der Leyen of the European Union, to the foreign minister, to other DGs in Europe, to the German government, and in the initial response, a lot of interest, but clearly saying, well, okay, but we're not there yet. We're not at the day after. And we're coming and saying, well, to get to the day after, we need to build these alliances of the private sector, of civil society, of government leadership. The German government or German government funding has recently given us a grant to do a study on the export of renewables from the Middle East to Europe. And it's actually being done by an Emirati company here, Kamar Energy, a leading energy consultant. And we're invited and sponsored to present the results of that study in February in Brussels, before the head, again, before van der Leyen's cabinet, the new foreign ministry, the new DG Med. And we're extremely excited. We're going to be working, of course, with France in, again, how to utilize the studies that are being produced. A private foundation is funding a study on the large-scale desalination in Gaza that would be part of Jordan's water security. And the Italian government is supporting a delegation from EcoPeace together with Italian civil society to think together and to write policy papers in support of IMEC and in support of the role that IMEC can lead in the agenda. And maybe most significantly, we're seeing interest of G7 countries to perhaps incorporate IMEC and its potential for peace building within next year's G7 agenda. So we actually come with real hope. In our own governments, we've heard positive responses from all three at different stages, on different aspects. Don't expect our three governments to agree outright. That's not the current trauma that our region is in. That's why we need the leadership of the 8 founding partners of IMEC to champion the incorporation of peace building into this IMEC model and bring on board together, invite Israel, Jordan, and Palestine to actually become signatories of the IMEC MOU that was signed back in September of last year.
Thank you, Gidon. We have 2 minutes left. So, as a matter of conclusion, I would first like to add an element, which is the approach of the EU. We have been discussing with Brussels, and you know that there is, perhaps that there is in the EU a process, an initiative called Global Gateway. Global Gateway aims at creating connectivity between EU as a whole and some friendly countries or friendly regions, and should concern 5 sectors: transport, digital, energy, we have the 3, at least 1, and education and health, which are not concerned by IMEC. And so there is an envelope of 300 billion euro for the global gateway. And the approach is to consider in the coming months the IMEC as a flagship project of the global gateway, and therefore to have the full support of all the European Commission and all EU. That will be in the processes of the EU, which are very complex, a way to have them on board directly and completely. Having said that, we have now to conclude. I would say that you have heard a very interesting explanation of my colleagues. I consider that in the short term, IMEC should be a concept for the day after. And in the long run, IMEC should be one of the most important infrastructure project and connectivity project for the century. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are on.
Thank you. This way, that way.